make some threes here tonight if they're going to win this game.
And this is a senior-dominated Hartford Hawk team that plays 5 guys, all 5, well, 7 guys, but the 5 starters all average over 30 minutes per game. 88% of their minutes and 82% of their points come from their starting 5 seniors. Well,
their lowest scoring, they go right inside to Sam Schweitz, living up to what Paul was saying. And another key tonight for UMBC, I think, is going to be to keep Sam Schweitz out of foul trouble, because they're a much deeper team when they can get good minutes out of him.
We apologize for the scoreboard bug. We'll keep you posted. The Retrievers lead the Hawks 2-0 early on. Schweitz, a junior, missed all of last year in UMBC's run to the NCAA tournament and beyond, for that matter.
And with Dan Ocken and Max Curran going out for the season, he's become a very important part of this team. Then last year, when UMBC went to the tournament, pulled that stunning upset against Virginia, because this team's had to deal with so many injuries, the loss of their starting backcourt, and he's been able to adapt his team to have success.
Sherburne inside for Schweitz, who's fouled from behind by Travis, behind Ryan Odom's performance here at UMBC in 3 years. The 7 years
banked it in.
Oh, look, great years now for Hartford.
Well, 2 best seasons in Hartford history. They won 19 games last year, made it to the semifinals, won 18 this year, and they're back in the semifinals of the conference tournament. 2 best seasons ever in Hartford history. And you say, what about when Vin Baker was there? Their best season with Vin Baker on the team, they won 16 games. So 2 coaches who've done remarkable jobs here tonight.
When was the last time the Retrievers led 3-0 and Sam Schweitz had all the points? When was the last time the Retrievers led 3-0 and Sam Schweitz had all the points?
I'm going to give you never.
Yeah, I think never is probably right. Missed by George Blagojevic, the first time out for Hartford. And now KJ Jackson with the runner in the lane. Right in front of the UMBC bench. 3 seconds on the shot clock.
Every team's got to play in this situation. They got off a decent shot from Carroll, but every team's got to play in this situation. They got off a decent shot from Carroll, but a short line drive.
5 shot clock violations for Albany last week.
And
Sherburne!
The more opportunities they get to not let the other team set up their defense, the better off they are.
And to illustrate how different this team is from years past, that 3-pointer by Joe Sherburne was only his 4th in the last 5 games.
There were times when he made 4.5 last year.
J.R. Lynch off glass and in.
And again, what makes him so dangerous is he'll burn you with a 3, but if you come up and guard him, he'll put it on the floor like he did there and get inside. And if you foul him, he's going to make his free throws. 15 out of 16 here last month.
28 points against UMBC here in this building. First team all-conference for the native of Hoboken, New Jersey, just on the other side of the Lincoln Tunnel.
Second most famous native of Hoboken, New Jersey.
Frankie Lamar tries to throw one up on the foul from
the ball up, and the foul comes and gives UMBC a new 20-second clock. That's a tough shot.
That foul was the first on Dunn.
That's my Bill Raftery euphemism for not a very good shot.
Sherburne on the miss. Hartford comes back trailing by 6. The Hawks lead the all-time series 19-16, but they've never beaten UMBC in the postseason. Travis Webb
makes. So there's nobody on this team, Hartford, that you can kind of lay off defensively. They can all score.
Jackson trying to dunk one inside, I think, on it.
He overthrew it.
And the Hawks come the other way. And it's funny you mentioned that 10 3-pointer game by Weatherington. That was against Binghamton. The next game for them was here at UMBC.
Had none.
That's UMBC held them well. Blagojevic sends it back out towards Lynch. Retrievers extend their defense.
And this is where he's just going to take off for the basket here. It's what he does when the clock gets under 10. And good pass.
Scoops one in for Blagojevic to Lamar.
And Ryan Odom said before the game, they've got to be aware when the shot clock gets to 10 that that's when Lynch is at his most dangerous.
Lamar for 3, rattles in.
Did he call the rattle?
He didn't call the rattle, but it still goes.
That was a deep 3, and he got some of his shooting confidence back Saturday when he made 3 threes. He'd been very cold from outside the 3-point line prior to Saturday. And I thought Arkel Lamar's play at both ends was the key to that victory on Saturday.
Definitely in the first half, and a great first half. Weatherington corner 3, no good. KJ Jackson the rebound.
Victory on Saturday.
Definitely in the first half, and a great first half. Weatherington corner 3, no good. KJ Jackson the rebound. Retrievers 2 for 2, or correction, Idle Rock the rebound. Retrievers 2 for 2 from beyond the arc. Sherburne gets a screen.
It was a good-looking shot there.
Sherburne gets a screen.
It was a good-looking shot there. It just didn't go in. Good-looking, I mean, in the sense that he was squared up, and shooter like that, you expect to make that shot, especially after he made his first one. Good hands there by Lamar.
Pass intended.
Their act together, and on a team like this, they're not going to panic with 5 seniors in the starting lineup.
Well, here's an interesting substitution. Early, Max Twyman checks into the ballgame, a redshirt senior from Rye, New York. Only, 5.5 minutes in. That's fairly early for Twyman. Carroll with a floater from just outside the lane. Rebound. And Horvath is checked in and pulls it down.
And Twyman is also a senior. The 7 guys who will get 95% of the minutes, maybe more, are all seniors.
This is a play that the Retrievers have excelled in the last.
He also has good hands, and that's why you can throw him a pass. It doesn't have to be perfect, and he'll catch it and finish as he did there.
Here's Carroll facing up with Sherburne, 15 to shoot here for the Hawks. Horvath uses those arms, and the with Sherburne, 15 to shoot here for the Hawks. Horvath uses those arms, and the Retrievers in transition. Lamar finishes.
Stay calm. It's very early. I mean, Paul mentioned a 16-7 lead. That's not that different from 15-5.
Retrievers on a 7-0 spurt here in the last minute and a half. Everyone scored for UMBC.
That's a block.
Except for Idle Rock.
Wow,
no
call.
block. They leave it. They let it go.
Wow.
Everyone scored for UMBC.
That's a block.
Except for Idle Rock.
Wow,
no
call.
block. They leave it. They let it go.
Wow. I would think you'd call something there. And Jackson misses, but Sherburne's there to finish. I would think you'd call something there. And Jackson misses, but Sherburne's there to finish.
A 9-0 run in 2 minutes.
And that's an example of a live ball turnover that John Gallagher was saying his team had to avoid. Even though Jackson didn't finish, Sherburne was there trailing because the Hawks didn't get back.
The Hawks are 2 for 8. The Retrievers are 7 for 10.
7 for 10's better. Mathematician that I am.
You are a wizard.
I am a wizard.
I think your math skills have really improved the last couple
of years. I think working with you has done it.
J.R. Lynch for 3.
A tough shot by J.R. Lynch. Sherburne was out there with a hand in his face.
Horvath, 2 minutes, 2 points, 2 rebounds.
Deuces are wild.
A blocking foul called on Lynch. UMBC Ricky Council, the junior transfer from Providence College.
And you know, when it's not going your way, those block charge calls tend not to go your way. It's basketball.
Good catch by Idle Rock in the corner to keep that one alive. Idle Rock, the freshman from Barking Abbey prep school in England. Daniel Ocken went there too. He's out for the year. KJ Jackson with the turnaround floater.
He's worked that shot more in the last couple of weeks. The one thing I would add to what Paul said about the last Hartford game here, this is a much better UMBC team than the team that played here a month ago. They've improved in so many ways.
That's 4 for KJ Jackson. Blagojevic
nice
is fouled by Horvath. I worked there.
Did you really?
2 years.
It's a great restaurant.
I loved it.
Great restaurant. I love Italy, but Ciparelli's might be my favorite. Ciparelli's and Sabatino's and Ciparelli are great. So nervous night for Matt Mihalik. And by the way, his brother Joe Jr., 3 Mihaliks in the NCAA tournament, as of this moment, lives.
George Blagojevic makes 1 of 2 for Hartford. The Retrievers now on the offensive end, leading by 13. KJ Jackson with a 3, kept alive by Sherburne. The Retrievers now on the offensive end, leading by 13. KJ Jackson with a 3, kept alive by Sherburne. The Retrievers now on the offensive end, leading by 13. KJ Jackson with a 3, kept alive by Sherburne.
Well, that's why Joe Sherburne's such a good player.
With a 3, kept alive by Sherburne.
Well, that's why Joe Sherburne's such a good player.
With a 3, kept alive by Sherburne.
Well, that's why Joe Sherburne's such a good player. Most guys get a rebound, their instinct is to go right up. He saw an open man.
And John Carroll gets the block on the Horvath putback. Here's Jackson inside the lane, and he keeps it alive. Block on the Horvath putback. Here's Jackson inside the lane, and he keeps it alive. Block on the Horvath putback. Here's Jackson inside the lane, and he keeps it alive. What a possession for UMBC. And finally, what a possession for UMBC. And finally,
Joe Sherburne and Brandon Horvath, but we've talked about his long arms there, and he did that in a key moment on Saturday against Albany. Just reached up with an arm and tipped it in.
Paul mentioned 81% of UMBC's points in the paint over the last few games. 14 of 19 tonight. Weatherington outside for Dunn, who has yet to score. Weatherington comes open and buries it.
And that's two.
Weatherington with 6. Hartford has 9. The Retrievers lead by 12. Coming up at the 10-minute mark here in the first.
Yeah. Hartford showing some zone here, trying to find something that'll slow the Retrievers down a little bit.
The zone was effective against UMBC back here last month.
Very.
Council for 3. And that's going to be on Horvath over the back.
But because he reached, he got called for the foul.
4 minutes for Horvath, 4 points, 4 rebounds. And now the 4s are wide.
Consistent. Thank goodness it's not 4 fouls.
He's halfway there. That's why I took him out.
Yep, had to. That's a kick.
Weatherington couldn't hit
it. That's a kick.
Weatherington couldn't handle it.
He just kicked it.
Schweitz active inside.
Wow, that time they called on Gallagher, and this is what good coaches do. Complaining about the call over here that was called a block, probably bought him that call. That's what you do when you're a coach. You complain not for that call, but for the next one.
Carroll inside has it stripped away by Schweitz. Carroll inside has it stripped away by Schweitz.
It's twice Carroll's had the ball knocked loose going to the basket. Unusual for him.
Carroll.
Wow. Wow.
Great finish by Idlerock all the way.
He's gotten so much better at that in the last couple of weeks, gaining confidence. He's been in the lineup most of the year for ball handling and defense, but he's gained a lot of confidence with his offense.
Before he went out those 2 games with the hand, he was averaging almost 9 points per game.
And Ryan Odom said they really missed him in those 2 games.
Retrievers have missed 103 games overall, all their players combined. Retrievers have missed 103 games overall, all their players combined. And again, Carroll with a miss, off to a slow start.
And it's worth noting that Brandon Horvath was out the last time these 2 teams played. That should be a jump ball.
John Carroll sits down for Hartford. Checking into the basketball game is Romain Boxes, a junior from Belgium, 6'6", 210.
He's the only senior who gets, the non-senior who gets some playing time for this team.
They basically go 7 deep. And off the glass and in, Blagojevic.
It's also a break for UMBC that it's only his first foul, almost 12 minutes in.
They had 2 early ones against Albany. Mitchell pop. Blagojevic runs it down.
And that's a break.
Early ones against Albany. Mitchell pop. Blagojevic runs it down.
And that's a break.
Early ones against Albany. Mitchell pop. Blagojevic runs it down.
And that's a break for UMBC too, because you expect that shot to go in.
Hawks are 2 for 7 from beyond the arc. Dunn, they keep it alive.
Go in.
Hawks are 2 for 7 from beyond the arc. Dunn, they keep it alive.
Go in.
Hawks are 2 for 7 from beyond the arc. Dunn, they keep it alive here, off the miss.
Session's never over. Wow. Interesting what's going on here. Officials now.
Nolan Garrity, the senior from Cleveland, Ohio.
Nolan Garrity had a very solid game on Saturday. Had a couple buckets inside, a couple rebounds, and makes a steal right there.
Jose Passer in the basketball game for the Retrievers.
It's interesting, UMBC basically has a 3-headed center now, and their 2 best inside players haven't played since January.
Passer's come a long way in conference play.
Become an offensive factor.
10 to shoot now for the Retrievers. Lamar will pop, and the rebound comes down for the Retrievers. Lamar will pop, and the rebound comes down to Boxes.
There goes Lynch, and he went right off his foot. That's who you would want your children to grow up and be like.
Subway proud. I'm sorry, John, proud to sponsor UMBC Athletic Scholar Athlete of the Game. Head to your locally owned Subway, get what you want.
And I said this to Ryan Odom this afternoon, and I think this is something the school should consider. Given the player that Joe Sherburne has been, what he's helped done in changing the culture here, and what he's done as a student, why not retire his number? There are no retired numbers in this building.
Great pass from Sherburne.
I would throw Jarris Lyles into that mix in terms of a retired number one. How much did he mean to this program?
16-point lead is the largest of the night for UMBC.
And I'll make one last point and then I'll shut up. Both of them played their senior years as graduate students. And it tells you a lot about the two of them.
Both stuck around, no doubt. Paul in the open was talking about the retriever scoring droughts against the Hawks earlier in the year. Hartford now almost 5 minutes without a bucket early on, without a point early on.
That's very unusual. That's not.
The retriever's ability to penetrate tonight has been the biggest difference.
Well, and that's the way Hartford plays defense. They do not attack you defensively. They basically back up and say, we're going to stop you when you get in the lane. Only UMBC's done an excellent job of stopping and popping in the lane. We've seen several guys do that tonight. KJ Jackson, Placer there, Sherburne earlier.
Look at this defense from UMBC outside the three-point line. Getting a hand in is Lamar.
He tied him up.
And it is
where he helped create a turnover. Didn't show up in the stats, but it was just as real. Still in the Hartford, still in that zone. And again, they will back up and give you room to get in the lane, like I said. And that's a foul on John. He's the classic 50% free throw shooter. I think he went for the bank there. He banked one in.
That's what the retrievers do now. The bigs
that's what they practice, yeah. Whatever works. And they're 1 for 2.
Free throw shooting team. But last 6 games, while their three-point shooting is sunk, their free throw shooting is 76%.
Which is up from about 67% prior to that.
Hands from Idle Rock, and here's a transition.
Which is up from about 67% prior to that.
Hands from Idle Rock, and here's a transition for UMBC.
Got a little fancy there, Idle Rock did. Should have just gone straight to
for UMBC.
Got a little fancy there, Idle Rock did. Should have just gone straight to the basket and allowed himself to get fouled. And they are swarming on defense.
Dunn working hard.
Nice play by Dunn there. Had to, and that's only their 4th field goal.
4 for 15. They have double the turnovers than buckets.
And that usually doesn't lead to wins.
That's an astute observation.
There you go. I know my hoops, right? Stick with me.
Sherburne, the fadeaway.
Good hustle by Garrity.
Foul.
Stick with me.
Sherburne, the fadeaway.
Good hustle by Garrity.
Team, it's a foul on the floor, new shot clock.
And that's the clock is at 30 because Sherburne shot hit the rim. I know them calling out a play.
Placer, the freshman from Orlando, has fit in nicely with this group in the conference schedule. Got off to a slow start, got 22 in a big game against Albany, his best of the campaign, and he banks it in.
Going to pass it to Garrity because they've done that so often tonight. They backed off him, and he was open for that short bank shot.
Every player has scored now for UMBC in this game, except for Ricky Council.
18 played at St. Joseph's under Phil Martelli. Classic Philly guy. In fact, he was Dump's last game on the road, and he had a chance to go. And his wife said, don't you have to get ready for your game on Saturday? And John said, I have to be there for Dump. And when Fran Dunphy came out of the locker room and saw John and his wife there, and they started talking, he said Dump just started weeping because he was so touched that John made the effort to get to that game. Fran Dunphy, one of the class acts in the history of basketball.
No doubt. Here's Lamar inside. He throws the foul, and he gets it.
John Carroll, one of my all-time favorite players, because 2 years ago he said he lost weight by giving up beer.
That'll do. DJ Mitchell, a freshman. How often do we say that?
Well, that's John Gallagher looking for, he's searching right now. Searching for help.
Out of Englewood Cliffs, New Jersey.
Used to be a great restaurant called the Old Salt in Englewood Cliffs, New Jersey.
20-point lead for UMBC. Here's Carroll with a spin on Lamar. They double down quick on that.
They sure did.
Back to Carroll. Now he'll try to
nice
face.
Pass.
Oh, he found Weatherington
really nice
inside.
Pass there. Pass there.
Very patient.
Nice cut by Weatherington. Good look by Carroll out of the low post.
There's some pressure now from Weatherington in the backcourt. Steelers make it up past midcourt.
Next 3 minutes are critical to both these teams. Hartford needs to cut into this lead before halftime.
KJ Jackson strong inside.
Walked.
Josh Rosario will get called.
Searching tonight and gave UMBC a huge lift defensively and a huge lift in energy in that rally.
He was plus 17 on the floor. He was on the floor for the entire comeback in the second half.
Well, they were down 18.
There's Mitchell. Dunn trying to get free from Jackson. And KJ Jackson plastered all over Jason Dunn.
Very aggressive defense on the perimeter.
There's Carroll to the basket. Nice floater from John Carroll.
John Carroll's really given his team a boost here in the last 3 possessions. Got to the basket for 2 free throws, made a really pretty pass for a layup, and hits a fadeaway jumper there. That's 6 quick points that they need. Actually cut the lead to 16.
2 minutes left to play in the half.
Jackson, that was not a smart play by Jackson. Dribbled.
Left to play in the half.
Jackson, that was not a smart play by Jackson. Dribbled right into the teeth of the defense.
Mitchell up ahead. Rejected by Lamar.
And that was a hustled back. Clean block of the freshman.
Another great crowd on hand tonight, by the way. People in the upper deck as well.
Which I don't think we've...
DJ Mitchell commits the foul. That's number 1. Josh Rosario at the line for 1-1. The Retrievers have committed 16 fouls.
Didn't you get...
Gonna let it slip away, but I guess you brought it back.
Well, I don't say funny things that often. When I do say something funny, I want credit for it. I want credit for it.
Tell me about it.
You love me.
2 for 2 for Rosario, and the Retrievers.
Brother you never wanted.
Leaded by.
See, that was funny.
That was funny. 18 now for UMBC.
Rosario steps the line coolly on 1-1. Remember how much trouble the Retrievers had earlier in the season with 1-1s?
Quick double on Carroll, baseline. Leaves Lynch open.
I've been fortunate that Lynch has missed at least 3 wide open shots. And Dunn, who's also a good shooter, has missed a couple himself. Been good shooters.
The Hawks are the best 3-point shooting team in the conference at 38%. Sherburne is the
strongest defensively is inside.
7 points for the grad students.
See if they go 2 for 1 here. Hartford with 45 seconds to go. And they catch a break there.
FYI, guys. The other night, the 3-7-5 should have been a 4.
Yep.
Lynch misses the second of 2. Retrievers now with about a 12-second differential.
I thought that was going in. And difference on the shot clock now. Hartford can play for 1. And they do get the first possession of the second half. So this is a critical possession for both teams. Big difference psychologically, because Hartford goes off the court with a basket, they'll feel much better about themselves. Not great, but better.
Jackson locked in on Lynch. 7 to shoot.
He wants to shoot at 3.
Over Placer, and it rolls out. Retrievers have a moment.
And you're going to cut this lead in half in the first 5 minutes, guys.
Well, I was about to say that I think the first 5 minutes of this second half are going to be critical to what kind of night we're going to have here. Hartford obviously needs to make a move, maybe get the lead down to 12 or 13 by the first TV timeout.
The Hawks shooting just 28% from the field, 20% from beyond the arc. Carroll
was deflected by KJ Jackson. And Gallagher was looking for in a start. It was a deflected shot leading to a turnover.
Speaking about UMBC's aggressive defense, how about KJ Jackson 30 feet from the basket blocking that shot?
And cleanly.
There's KJ on the other end. 7 to shoot. Back door goes for Lamar.
In there. And again, John Gallagher was talking about stopping those shots in the paint. His team has been almost passive defensively. They do retreat and give you the chance to get in the lane, but they're supposed to stop passes like that because of the way they play defense, especially in that zone.
Lamar with 10. Carroll now 1 for 5 from the field. Dunn misfires, but Carroll runs it down on the baseline.
Zone.
Lamar with 10. Carroll now 1 for 5 from the field. Dunn misfires, but Carroll runs it down on the baseline.
January 28th, they had a big team meeting, kind of a come-to-Jesus type of team meeting on January 28th. They were 10-12, 3-4 in the league. And they all talked about giving more. There's a nice move. No, I'm not sure he didn't carry the ball. But since then, coming into tonight, they've won 8 out of 10, including winning here in mid-February.
Lynch now with 5 for the Hawks.
Which is why that first half, I'm sure, shocked both John Gallagher and his team. I don't think they expected to be up 19, but they didn't expect to be down 19. Good look by Schweitz. Tough catch and shoot, and he makes it.
He has got to
shoot. His Idlerock had to reach with his left hand to catch it and then recover and shoot right-handed. Usually that's a miss. Not tonight.
Nice touch from the freshman. He's got 5, and the lead back to 22 now. Or up to 22, I should say, for UMBC.
And right now, Joe Sherburne is stalking Lynch.
That's an interesting match.
I know him likes that size and smart, and those smarts from Sherburne. That's a foul. Good pass inside. And Hartford's kind of bailout offense, when they're not shooting well or when the shot clock gets under 10, is to do what they've done on
first season starter in his senior year. Went from 4.5 points a game last year to over 14 this year. But he misses the second of
the 6. But not great.
74% from the line as a team. Top 3 in the conference.
5 for 8 tonight. That's 62%. Showing up on math skills again.
There's Lamar now facing up on Dunn.
Oh, nice pass. I was about to say tough shot. And he fooled me. And he fooled me. And he fooled the Hartford defense.
Schweitz connects from Lamar.
Again, good defense there as Lynch tried to go.
Connects from Lamar.
Again, good defense there as Lynch tried to go to the basket.
Transition now.
They're going to call that a charge. Jackson looked like he was out of control. I didn't have a good view from here on whether it was a block or a charge in terms of when the contact came. Ryan Odom did have a better view than I did. He might be a little more biased.
Maybe. That's the 3rd team foul on UMBC early here, just 3 minutes in.
Yeah, that's not a good thing for UMBC.
And Schweitz all over the shooter.
Interior by UMBC. They know that Hartford's going to try to get inside to try to get back in this game.
The Retrievers held Albany in the 30s field goal percentage in the quarters.
Lucky that they didn't turn it over there.
9 to shoot. Wide open, KJ Jackson.
And that's the first time off the rate.
Those aren't as easy as they look.
No, they're not. They're very hard mentally because you're thinking too much most of the time.
That's 7 for Jackson and a steal for Jackson. Both
because you're thinking too much most of the time.
That's 7 for Jackson and a steal for Jackson. Both ends of the floor.
That's why he was on the all-defensive team. Remarkable. Schweitz was able to even get a hand on that pass. If that goes in, John Gallagher's got to call time. Schweitz was able to even get a hand on that pass. If that goes in, John Gallagher's got to call timeout. He may need one anyway.
And not only that, but the house explodes.
Yep. Good hands.
Idlerock. Well, something up. We thought that the foul was a charge on KJ Jackson a moment ago. It was actually against Idlerock. So Idlerock now with 2 fouls. KJ Jackson with none for UMBC. Underneath Rock. So Idlerock now with 2 fouls. KJ Jackson with none for UMBC. Underneath, we're
giving up offensive rebounds because that's the way they warm up. Making those putbacks. Or a 3.
Lynch, a line drive 3.
And now they're going to press full court because they need to. And Joe Sherburne breaks that press right away. That's why Sherburne inbounds the ball most of the time, except when they want him to get fouled.
Sherburne to Idlerock.
Boy, is he feeling it. Boy, is he feeling it. And that's a shot no way you'd even want him to take in December. Quick answer, though.
And now Hartford just needs to shoot 3s, basically, trailing by 26.
Well, if they can make them.
Yep.
They made 2 before those last 2. So they've doubled the number of 3s they've made in the last minute.
This one far from over. It's a 23-point deficit for Hartford. Hartford came back from a 22-point deficit again for Hartford. Hartford came back from a 22-point deficit against Albany.
Well, that's the point that Ryan Odom made. Great rebound by Lamar.
Deficit against Albany.
Well, that's the point that Ryan Odom made. Great rebound by Lamar. He turned it over and then made up for it with that rebound off what should have been a made layup.
Idlerock, ball fake. Oh, that was going to be an aggressive play there by the freshman.
Well, good patience.
KJ Jackson.
Again, he was a little too open. He made
KJ Jackson.
Again, he was a little too open. He made the one before, but he's better shooting from the corner than from the wing.
They dump it in quickly for Blagojevic.
He's
over Sherburne.
He's too strong for Sherburne. He's too strong for Sherburne if they let him catch it in the post. What you have to do is deny that pass. And that's 8 quick points for Hartford. Still a 21-point deficit, but 14 minutes to go is forever in college basketball. That's why Ryan made the point to Paul at halftime about the fact that this Hartford team has come back from a 20-plus point deficit this season.
Horvath inside from Sherburne.
Have Horvath lost him. Whoever did have Horvath lost him. And Sherburne found him.
Dunn for 3, and he's fouled in the corner.
Dunn is on the free throw line.
That's 3 fouls now on Idle Rock. Dunn at the free throw line to shoot.
Free throw. Partly because he's got 3 fouls, partly because he just made a mental error there with that foul. He's more games than me too.
That's true.
For the record.
Dunn's free throws trim the margin now to 21.
But it's amazing, and we've seen this for 3 years now. Ryan Odom's instincts in terms of who to put in a game and when. Twice putting guys into games in the last few seconds who hadn't made a shot all day, and they make the winning shot. There's another. Usually a good free throw shooter.
The lead still 23 for UMBC. Carroll gets a ball screen from Blagojevic, but the retriever switch. DJ Mitchell back in the game. Carroll will pop baseline and score.
I was looking around to see if he was outside the three-point line, which he was not. Either that or he was looking at the crowd. I'm not sure which. And UMBC's done a good job breaking this pressure.
6 points for Carroll. Jose Placer is checked in. Idle Rock, they leave open.
He made 2 where he was guarded. He misses the one.
Idle Rock, they leave open.
He made 2 where he was guarded. He misses the one where he's wide open.
Here's Lynch now.
John Gallagher saying to his players, let's get it up here quickly. And they do. And
he's hot.
Well, he's made 3 threes now.
Travis Weatherington has that ability.
As we said earlier, he made 10 in the game last year. And they cut it to 18. Who would have thought I'd have said that phrase tonight about either team?
And now they're going to pressure here.
Well, they've got to speed the game up. That's what they're trying to do, is speed the game up, because they need it to go fast.
And the Retrievers are trying not to allow it.
But they need to still run their offense. And they're one and done, and here comes.
Retrievers are trying not to allow it.
But they need to still run their offense. And they're one and done, and here comes Lynch. And if they score here, I think Ryan Odom might consider a timeout.
Weatherington.
And they call the
blocking foul
for a TV timeout to come along for Ryan Odom. Because I think the lead is going to be 16 here in a moment. And
excellent free throw shooter at 78% for Weatherington, who transferred from Palm Beach State. It is a 16-point margin. Weatherington has 16. The Hawks are on an 8-0 run in the last 110, and they pressure the basketball.
Who would think an 8-0 run would cut the lead to 16?
That is true.
Oh, that was a risky pass. No, he's okay because he was not fully in the front court there, Placer.
Sherburne with an open look.
Nope, wide right. That's a shot Joe Sherburne needs to make, Placer.
Sherburne with an open look.
Nope, wide right. That's a shot Joe Sherburne needs to make right at that moment in time.
All of a sudden, the tenor of this game has changed dramatically.
Well, Sherburne makes that, and it stops that run for Hartford, but instead they have a chance to cut it to 13, but he missed.
Jackson on the rebound
for Hartford, but instead they have a chance to cut it to 13, but he missed.
Jackson on the rebound off the Lynch miss.
Well, they're playing very physical. Officials letting him go.
Placer will launch.
That's 4 straight misses and 1 and done for UM. Officials letting him go.
Placer will launch.
That's 4 straight misses and 1 and done for UMBC, and it's going to lead to a layup.
Mitchell with Lamar, good defense, no call.
That's twice for UMBC, and it's going to lead to a layup.
Mitchell with Lamar, good defense, no call.
That's twice Lamar has done a great job getting back on defense and blocking Mitchell's shots.
Again, Lamar, 10 points, you know, nothing special there.
Yeah, but he's played great defense.
2 or 3 big defensive plays, including that big block to our right.
And that was on Mitchell, too. And UMBC could use a look inside here. They've missed 4 straight jump shots. 5 straight jump shots.
Lynch.
Look inside here. They've missed 4 straight jump shots. 5 straight jump shots.
Lynch runs it down in the corner, up ahead for Carroll.
Wow, what a catch by Carroll. And they called a foul on all inside.
And if you watched on that replay there, Horvath was actually slipping.
Competitor.
He absolutely is.
1 out of 2 there. That helps UMBC, but it's in just a few minutes.
Plenty of time left in this one, and Wetherington gets called for the
hands of Joe Sherburne and let him create something inside for one of his teammates or for himself. But they've gotten a little jump shot happy, and they've gone cold. They call the palm.
Carry up.
Everybody carries it on every possession.
That's 5 turnovers now for Jackson. Wetherington gets a screen.
And again, give Arkel Lamar making that a guarded 3.
Again, won't show up in the stats.
No, doesn't show up in the stats, but important play.
The lead still 15 now with 8:40 left.
Been a while since UMBC scored. Stuck on 54.
That's too long.
That's not even close. That was a 20. Stuck on 54.
That's too long.
That's not even close. That was a 25-footer from 20 feet.
There's Wetherington.
They've got to stop shooting jump shots. They've got to try to get inside.
It's a long drought now for UMBC, over 4:30 without a bucket, without a point. There's Wetherington baseline. Floats one. They'll go to the line. So here's the foul situation now, John. 8 for UMBC, 2 for the Hawks.
Right.
UMBC, Placer and Lamar sit down.
Here comes John Gallagher starting to look like a seer, saying we played our worst half of the season. Now we're going to try to play our best half. And UMBC has to call timeout. Make a jump shot. They've missed 6 in a row. Haven't scored since Barack Obama was president, it feels like.
The Hawks on a 12-2 run over the last 5-13. UMBC now in the front court. Jackson gets a man up and draws the foul.
He got it inside.
That's the second foul on DJ Mitchell.
Inconsistent free throw shooter, KJ Jackson.
A 67% free throw shooter in the first.
A TV timeout, because the last timeout that was called by Ryan Odom that they were forced to call was the first. Was the first called timeout of the half, so it led to that full timeout. It's such a ridiculous rule.
Well, those 2 free throws by Jackson breaks a 5-minute drought for UMBC. Corner 3 by Wetherington. Carroll outmaneuvered for the rebound by Schweitz. BC. Corner 3 by Wetherington. Carroll outmaneuvered for the rebound by Schweitz.
Good to get a defensive stop for the Retrievers, because it's been a while since they had one.
We just got word the officials have rectified the foul situation. The foul that should have gone to Jackson that went to Idle Rock has been given to Jackson. So Jackson has 1 foul and Idle Rock has 3, and Dunn commits the
Jackson.
It's official from Patrick Gymnasium in Burlington, Vermont. The Catamounts have beaten Binghamton 84-51. Vermont goes back to the title game in the America East.
For the 100th year in a row or something.
Rosario floats a 3. The rebound.
For the 100th year in a row or something.
Rosario floats a 3. The rebound, Wetherington on the weak side.
Again, you see that not good shot leads to a quick break and an open 3 for Wetherington. Swish.
Money.
And that's what I mean about good defense leading to good offense. They had good defense on Rosario. He misses the shot. They rebound. They push it. And now they press. John Gallagher wanted a charge there, but I didn't think there was much contact. I thought that was a dive.
Plenty of time left in this one.
Oh, hours.
Jackson penetrates and kicks it back outside.
Good help from Carroll there. That's what they were lacking in the first half. There was almost no help defense when UMBC got in the paint.
Idle Rock now, 3 to shoot. Rosario going to try to do something with it. That is short. Now 3 to shoot. Rosario going to try to do something with it. That is short.
That was an air ball from 15 feet.
And all of a sudden, this all belongs to Hartford, and Lynch drives the hole.
UMBC putting the jerseys away. So desperation can breed either poor play or good play, and in this case, it's bred very good play. And some panic a little bit by UMBC.
John Gallagher looks like Nostradamus after his comments to Paul Mittermeier at the half.
He does. And there's another turnover.
Meyer at the half.
He does. And there's another turnover.
Just a bad pass from Sherburne trying to go inside. Blagojevic scores, and it's a
sure now at this point because they've cut this lead so quickly. UMBC can't run out the clock. They can't just use 20 seconds something going here. Horvath back in the game. See if they don't try to get something inside for him.
It's a 7-point game. 56-49, less than 6 minutes to go. What a comeback by the Hawks, all in the second half.
They're not afraid to trap the ball right now, and UMBC's been unable to take advantage, and there's a reach-in foul. They have to make some one-and-ones, and if you remember, in Hartford, that was their failing. And that was a great play by Idle-Rock Hughes. In Hartford, that was their failing. And that was a great play by Idle-Rock Hughes. Well, that body's pretty powerful.
He is a big freshman, 6'3", 225. First field goal for UMBC in the last 7.5 minutes, and Idle-Rock completes the three-point play.
He's a big human of any age.
Indeed, 10-point lead for UMBC.
Nice
Good look inside.
Somebody got lost.
Lamar tried to cover, but it was too late, and it's an 8-point game.
I don't think that was his man. I think that was probably Horvath's man.
Drew's trying to work some clock here.
Lamar was like a safety trying to help a cornerback out there. They're trapping every chance they get. And it's another turnover.
2-on-1.
Every chance they get. And it's another turnover.
2-on-1. 3-on-1.
Carroll the trailer, nice play.
6-point game. And here's pressure now from the Hawks.
And we've talked about how good UMBC's defense has been. They haven't had much chance to set up their half-court defense in this half. There's another deflected pass.
Carroll with the
in this half. There's another deflected pass.
Carroll with the steal. Pass was intended for Lamar. Weatherington.
Good ball movement. He went up and down. That's a walk.
That's a turnover.
That's a break. I said Ryan Odom's a little biased in the first half. I think John Gallagher's a bit biased too, just the other way.
10th turnover for the Hawks, but only their second in the second half. They've been too busy making threes. Sherburne steps inside the arc.
Sherburne needs to make a shot. He's really been cold.
Sherburne steps inside the arc.
Sherburne needs to make a shot. He's really been cold.
Sherburne steps inside the arc.
Sherburne needs to make a shot. He's really been cold in the second half.
Horvath keeps it alive. The Hawks defense, John, looks like UMBC's in the first half.
Horvath screaming at Idle-Rock to get in the middle, which is where they wanted him. And that's why.
Jackson.
The Idle-Rock in the middle. He's such a good passer. He sets Jackson up on the nice curl cut.
Jackson now with 11. Lynch cross court for Blagojevic.
Nice pass.
Right behind him.
And again, the full court pressure. UMBC has been able to break the press, but they've had some turnovers a long way from the basket when they get trapped at midcourt. And that's what Ryan Odom was probably talking about. Get it across court, but don't lose your concentration. And there's Idle-Rock in the middle where he works best.
But Florida won't go, and John Carroll pulls it down.
And it's not a shot that Ryan Odom minds at all, although they didn't use any clock. With 3:20 to go, you might have wanted to let the clock run down a little bit, but you got to run your offense. You can't run the clock out this early, as I said before.
Nice screen from Carroll as Weatherington goes baseline and floats it in.
And you're right. The screen from Carroll freed him up, got him away from Sherburne.
23 for Weatherington, 15 in the second half. He has been the star for Hartford. KJ Jackson underneath. That's too strong, and it's run down by Sherburne.
Now remember, it didn't hit the rim.
KJ Jackson underneath. That's too strong, and it's run down by Sherburne.
Now remember, it didn't hit the rim.
KJ Jackson underneath. That's too strong, and it's run down by Sherburne.
Now remember, it didn't hit the rim, so they've got 15 seconds on the shot clock. And I think UMBC is going to have to hit some one-on-one free throws here before this is over.
The Retrievers are 2 for their last 15 from the field. Lamar, 3 seconds on the clock. Lamar is off. And Carroll will let it go. Does it go out? Yeah. Schweitz checks in.
He never wants to come out. But Hartford has no need to rush, and Ryan Odom showing some pressure here just to change things up a little bit, I think.
The inbounds goes to Lynch.
Feeders look tired.
Two-possession game with 2:20 left. Blagojevic on the back door. It's a two-point game.
24 points of a 26-point lead gone.
The Hawks are 8 for their last 8. The Retrievers are 2 for their last 15.
16, actually.
And this time a foul will be. This is reminiscent of the trip up to Hartford, where the Retrievers had 1-on-1 chances to take the game away.
They never had that big a lead, though.
That is.
But he's got it. It's too early to start talking about 1- and 2-possession games, but making that one means it's still a two-possession game. But still a million miles to travel for UMBC.
Jackson with 13 points. He's 4 for 4 from the free throw line tonight. What a basketball game. What a comeback by the Hartford Hawks. Dunn will pop. 3. 1-point game. And that is his first three-pointer.
And that was a fall-away, guarded 3, nothing but net.
The Hawks have never led in this game.
Well,
Jackson to the hole. Schweitz with the rebound. And he's wrestled to the floor. Jackson to the hole. Schweitz with the rebound. And he's wrestled to the floor.
You have to bring somebody off the bench now. Sam Schweitz ran and the trainer was working on his knee, limped back to the locker room. So no.
Will he be in for Saturday? But Ricky Council calmly comes in, makes the first, but misses the second. So it's a one-possession, very small lineup in right now. They got nobody who's a center on the floor.
Lamar, Council, and Sherburne, along with Idle Rock and Jackson. There's Idle Rock inside the lane. He throws it up, gets his own rebound.
It almost looked like he did that.
There's Idle Rock inside the lane. He throws it up, gets his own rebound.
It almost looked like he did that.
There's Idle Rock inside the lane. He throws it up, gets his own rebound.
It almost looked like he did that on purpose.
Lamar will pop.
Oh, I think it's going to be Council over the back.
Lamar will pop.
Oh, I think it's going to be Council over the back. I don't think that's bias. I think they missed that call.
So free throws here for Carroll.
All 2-shot fouls. I think they flat out missed that one. And this is the second one. So it's a 1.
The last time these teams were tied, 16 seconds into the game.
And if I am UMBC, I want an inside shot here. They have not made a jump shot since I was single.
That's going back a ways.
Going back a ways.
Sherburne, deep 3.
Oh, a little bit of the State Farm belt thing there in honor of Aaron Rodgers and what might be the biggest and last shot of his career here.
Dunn. They got plenty of time here. Lynch follows his own shot.
Oh, they're lucky that didn't go in.
Dunn. They got plenty of time here. Lynch follows his own shot.
Oh, they're lucky that didn't go in. An homage to Aaron Rodgers. And boy,
Sherburne with 10 points, 10 rebounds, 6 assists. Lynch.
All right, now Hartford is going to try to pressure and get a turnover. If they don't, if UMBC gets the ball in the front court, then they'll have to foul, and they're going to try to keep it in Sherburne's hands if they can.
Well done by UMBC, and they foul Sherburne.
See, I would. Oh my goodness!
Wow!
I jinxed them. My fault. Oh my goodness!
Wow!
I jinxed them. My fault.
Still a 2-point game.
They can tie or take the lead. They're going for the tie. He got bumped, and they're going to have the chance to get the lead.
Look at an 84% free throw shooter this year.
Almost came out, but it didn't. And now
3 by Council. The win over New Hampshire. The 3 by Placer.
There's Jackson. Season on the line for both teams.
10 seconds to play. Hawks by 1.
Sherburne double teams. Got to find somebody.
Jackson will drive. Land of the Giants.
He got fouled.
A blocking foul.
He's been good from the foul line tonight, but wow, what pressure here. And he missed the first. Call timeout.
We're tied at 68.
that led Hartford get the game back to this point.
Horvath and Carroll in the circle, and Sherburne wins the tip for UMBC. Foul trouble, Carroll with 4, Dunn with 4, both for the Hawks.
Again, that's a shot that KJ Jackson would have taken probably earlier in the game. Horvath's going to be surrounded here. Good defense by Carroll, but Jackson comes in with a rebound. Surrounded here. Good defense by Carroll, but Jackson comes in with a rebound. Surrounded here. Good defense by Carroll, but Jackson comes in with a rebound.
Idle Rock, Jackson off the glass.
Nice look by.
Take the lead, 30 seconds into overtime. Again, the Vermont Catamounts have already beaten Binghamton. They're in the final. They'll host.
Okay, then maybe there was contact that I missed, but it looked like Sherburne just deflected a call when you're in overtime with 2 seasons on the line.
Yeah, exactly.
Let the players decide the game.
Wagoyevic hits the second of 2 and the first.
Lynch is on the ball, but they backed off their full court pressure, which did so much to get them back in the game.
Sherburne.
Oh, man. That only hit the rim 7 times.
Jackson in.
Yeah. I mean, it did earlier in the game for Lamar, remember? But not so much now.
Tied at 70, a minute into overtime. Dunn with 4 fouls. Good ball movement here. Dunn will pop straight away. Rebound, Jackson. That's 7 rebounds for the guard.
Played a little more than 2 hours and nothing's been decided.
As Chuck Thompson used to say, the folks are as good as the people. Steal. Lynch. As Chuck Thompson used to say, the folks are as good as the people. Steal. Lynch. It's a 2-point lead for the Hawks.
That are the reason they lost it, because they have allowed Hartford not to play against their half-court defense. And that's what happened right there.
That's 13 turnovers for UMBC. Idle Rock kisses it off the glass. That's 13 for the freshman. 2:50 left to go in this one, tied at 72. A berth in the conference championship game on the line. Lynch for 3. Idle Rock pulls it down.
Lynch, you don't expect him to miss, especially the way he's played down the stretch.
A 41% three-point shooter this year, number 4 in the league. He's 1 for 8 tonight.
His best offense has been going to the basket. He did hit that key line drive 3 that kind of helped get their run started.
5 to shoot for Lamar. Carroll pulls it down.
And again, not a bad shot. Cold as ice in the second half, too, like most of his teammates. We've seen UMBC miss a lot of shots in the second half that you normally expect them to make. And a lot of that's just pressure.
10 to shoot.
Almost went up and down again, didn't he?
Dunn launches.
Oh, nice
Lamar
rebound
with
by
a very
Lamar. Almost went up and down again, didn't he?
Dunn launches.
Oh, nice
Lamar
rebound
with
by
a very
Lamar.
athletic rebound, and he's hurt. It's 4 on 5 the other way. Idle Rock. A blocking foul is called.
Consistency. If one thing's a foul, the other thing's a foul.
3 fouls on Lynch. This is 2 shots for Idle Rock. Of the last 2 regular season games for UMBC.
Well, he missed, yeah, and then he was able to come back for the tournament game against Albany.
It's both free throws. He's got 15.
And he's been critical for UMBC tonight.
The Hawks are 7 for 25 from 3-point distance.
Don Gallagher trying to get his players in position for this offensive set.
Jackson almost stole that one from behind on Carroll, who works on Horvath. Now they double with Lamar.
A good defense there by Horvath to keep Carroll away from the basket.
10 to shoot. Weatherington one-on-one with Lamar.
See, that's just been off tonight.
A 78% free throw shooter is Weather 4 for the year.
And again, when you're in overtime and seasons are on the line, you don't call touch fouls. I'm sorry. I mean, it was a good no call when Lamar went down. But this was 2 bad calls here in overtime by Edwin Young.
Tied at 74.
Hartford in their zone there, double teaming Idle Rock. You're gonna make him take a jump shot.
In the lane for Idle Rock. Fighting hard is Idle Rock, and it's out of bounds off Idle.
At the end, Dean Carroll battling for the ball.
Lynch with Horvath. Spreading the floor now with 10 to shoot. Lynch, the step back.
That was a tough shot. Horvath did a good job getting his hand up.
Lynch, the step back.
That was a tough shot. Horvath did a good job getting his hand up. Plenty of time. They don't have to shoot. They don't have to shoot. They don't have to shoot. They do.
Taken away by.
Plenty of time. They don't have to shoot. They don't have to shoot. They don't have to shoot. They do.
Taken away by Lynch.
Turns it over. They don't have to shoot either. They can hold for one. And does commit the foul.
You put an 84% free throw shooter at the line.
And we'll see if Ryan Odom chooses to use it or simply wants to get into his offense. Try to go to the basket and maybe get a kick to Sherburne and say, let's win it or lose it with our best guy.
Here we go. 10 seconds to play. Jackson inside for Horvath. He is fouled by Carroll.
If he misses one, then UMBC is going to have to foul right away. If he makes two, then we'll see if John Carroll or...
Still plenty of time here, 8.3, and each team has a timeout. We're tied at 70. We're tied at 76.
That's some coolness there. And John Gallup, neither coach calling timeout. I think Daryl's going to come right down, and he's going to try to take a shot to win the game.
2 seconds.
Good
1
defense.
second for the win.
Great defense.
Double overtime. Council. Oh, correction, Lamar. And the Retrievers will win it on the sideline. It was well done by Sherburne to run it down.
Yep, good job, and good job by Horvath to get his hand on the ball against a guy who's probably a pretty good leaper, although I can't begin to tell you since he hasn't played tonight.
Lamar inside from Sherburne.
Nice pass.
Sherburne.
Nice pass by Sherburne. Good post up by Lamar.
That's 7 assists to go with 10 points and 10 rebounds for the grad student.
And what UMBC wants to do is they want to make Hartford earn it here. They don't want to foul.
Lynch.
That's a block.
No, the other way.
Wow. Seconds on the shot clock.
Ball in the hands of Jackson. The Hawks have come all the way back from 26 to force double overtime. Sherburne, baseline. Over Twyman, and the tip for Sherburne. Overtime. Sherburne, baseline. Over Twyman, and the tip for Sherburne. He really is. That's 12 for Joe Sherburne, and it's a 4-point lead for UMBC.
How much has he been out of the game tonight?
Joe Sherburne has played 44 of 47 minutes.
And I bet the 3 minutes he was out were in the first half.
Horvath, steal, Horvath.
3 minutes he was out were in the first half.
Horvath, steal, Horvath. Idle Rock.
It was a tired pass, and Idle Rock made a terrible mistake there. He needed to pull the ball.
Idle Rock.
It was a tired pass, and Idle Rock made a terrible mistake there. He needed to pull the ball back out.
And Horvath hooks him from behind. Free throws tonight.
That's why I'm saying it was such a foolish foul. 90 feet to worry about at this point, whether the bench is standing or not.
Oh, they are muddy from the free throw line. Blagojevic, 7 free throws in 9 attempts. It's a 2-point lead for UMBC with the ball.
And you want Sherburne touching the ball here because he's not likely to make a bad pass.
Jackson inside, waits, and scores!
That was patience there, using the shot fake to clear some space for himself.
18 for Jackson.
If you're going to score here, make them earn it. Don't foul them.
46 points in the paint for UMBC tonight.
Wyman's in there because he's a shooter.
So is Dunn.
Yep.
Wow.
They took exactly the opposite approach. They said, we're going to get back in this game, and they did.
So the Hawks now with a little momentum after the Dunn 3 have cut it to 1. Takes the Retrievers about 10 seconds to get into their offense here. Jackson and Blagojevic. He'll drive. The tip in from Horvath. Jackson and Blagojevic. He'll drive. The tip in from Horvath. Long arm of the law. 3-point lead for UMBC.
And what you want to do now is try to deny that 3-point line. especially with a guy like Dunn.
Horvath with 12. Idle Rock on Dunn with 10 to shoot. Lynch will launch and hit.
Wow. But money players are money players, right?
22 points for J.R. Lynch. Blocking foul called on Jelly. Are they down their big forward in John Carroll? Now they're down their big ball handler.
KJ Jackson bricks the first free throw in the game most of the night, too. Makes the second.
1 of 2.